Biological Code Podcast, a podcast on Germanische Heilkunde. Today's topic is hip pain. Anna is married and the mother of 5 children. Every day her hands were full, caring for the family, preparing meals, keeping the household running smoothly, and tending to a garden that certainly did not look after itself. A family of 7 with a garden, that is a great deal of work. And yet, alongside all of this, Anna had another little baby. She made fine, fragrant soaps and sold them at markets. In 2009, she officially registered her small business with the Chamber of Commerce, and her passion was formally recognized with an Austrian trade license for the manufacture of soaps. Everything was properly arranged and officially approved. However, the EU authorities had other plans. They had begun regulating cosmetic production with a new framework of rules. Suddenly, Anna was required to complete formal training through a mandatory course and examination for her small business. The Chamber of Commerce did not pressure her. They told her that her existing trade license was fully sufficient and that if such a course were ever offered in her region, she could simply take it then. But instead of being able to continue peacefully and perhaps attend the course one day, pressure came from another direction. A woman called Anna and asked under what authorization she was selling her soaps. She had heard that Anna was selling them without permission. Anna did not even know this woman and was astonished that others were interfering. Perhaps it was envy or simply spite. Sadly, such people exist everywhere. Anna remained calm. At the time, the course were offered only in Vienna, and that was simply too far away for her to travel to. Then, a few months later, it suddenly happened. The course was now being offered in her own region. And that was her biological conflict. She had not expected it to happen so quickly, and in that moment it became clear what this would mean for her. She only had one thought: I cannot get through this. Household, children, garden, markets, and now on top of everything, the course. Suddenly she felt like an animal driven into a corner. The first course filled up very quickly, so she had to register for the second one. Anna was under enormous stress. For 15 years, she had essentially been at home with the children, and now she was expected to travel regularly to the city for 10 months to attend this course. She would never have dared to make that journey alone by car. When she was 17, she had flown alone to London without difficulty. Back then it was no problem, but now she was even afraid to travel by train. Her travel muscle was completely out of practice. Yet Anna's ambition prevailed. She decided to face the challenge. She had found someone from her area who was also attending, and now, not being alone, she eventually dared to make that car journey. Not only did she manage the trips, she also wanted to achieve good marks. For the course, she learned everything by heart. Anna pushed herself tremendously. She managed her household, cared for her husband and 5 children, produced her soaps and sold them at markets, tended a large vegetable garden, and at the same time kept up with the demanding coursework. And so the year passed, and after 10 months the course was completed. In autumn came the examination, and the very next day the Christmas market began. Shortly before Christmas, when the Christmas market finally ended, her hip pain began. Precisely on the last day of the market. Everything was done. The weight had lifted from her shoulders. The pain was so severe that she could no longer sleep on the affected side at all. Anna had finally entered the healing phase of a self-devaluation conflict with the content, I cannot get through this. In the conflict active phase, the cartilage undergoes necrosis. Only in the healing phase does the cartilage rebuild itself, and this rebuilding is very painful. Afterwards, however, it is stronger than before. Anna had resolved her conflict. She had endured and accomplished everything. Anna is also someone who avoids doctors wherever she could, and so going to a doctor because of the pain was out of the question for her. With her knowledge of Germanische Heilkunde, she understood that she now simply had to go through the healing phase. For several months, she repeatedly experienced intense pain and could only sleep reasonably well on one side. Climbing stairs was also extremely painful. The joint felt as though coarse sand were grinding inside. At the beginning, throughout the winter, the pain was at its worst. Later it subsided, and at times disappeared entirely. After a few months, everything had been restored, and the cartilage was noticeably thicker than before. In retrospect, Anna realized that she might not have needed to create quite so much stress for her. But her small business was very important to her. In any case, she had accomplished everything successfully and had grown enormously through the experience. Fortunately, she knew Germanische Heilkunde and understood that the healing phase would come to an end. And you too can learn Germanische Heilkunde. Learn to think biologically. The knowledge of Germanische Heilkunde belongs in every household. If you'd like to learn how to apply the 5 biological laws in everyday life, visit thebiologyproject.org. You can also find more about our association at urkraftleben.at. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to subscribe. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Telegram, and Instagram. Thank you for listening. Until next time.